Hey guys, it's Damien again. I've got a really interesting video as always. This one is actually about the cottage food laws for Nevada, the state of Nevada. And there was something, the reason why I was going to do this video is that I had a handful of requests and questions from some people who lived in Nevada, and they were actually looking for me to do a video to try to understand the basics of what the cottage food laws are like in Nevada. And remember, cottage food laws, of course, apply to products that are produced at home and they're sold locally. Some states do allow you to sell them through the internet, but they have to be delivered in person or exchanged from you to the customer and within the state, okay? So a lot of times if you've got a cottage food license, or if you've got a kitchen that is a cottage food kitchen, you can actually create a website, and in some states it is allowed for you to actually transact it over the website. But the actual delivery process and the exchange itself, it has to be in person, okay? So remember that, keep that understanding. If you're in a commercial facility, that's a different type of licensing. Of course, you can sell to whomever and wherever you want if you're commercially licensed, okay? So really quick, so Nevada is fantastic because as a part-time job or a part-time business, if you start a cottage food business, you can actually sell up to $35,000 a year worth of product via the Nevada law, the Cottage Food Law, okay? It doesn't sound like a tremendous amount, of course, a six-figure business or something, but it's a good start. And when you're starting small, an extra $35,000 a year in income in gross sales, that's a pretty good amount of money, okay? Plus, the most important part of all of this information that I give you is when you're starting something from scratch, always start small, okay? Don't try to overwhelm yourself or think that starting big is better. You can think big, but you need to start small, okay? So some of the places that you can start to sell in Nevada. This is awesome. You've got, the thing about Nevada, is there is a lot going on in Nevada. So there are a lot of events and outside fairs, festivals, and that's traditionally how a lot of cottage food producers sell products. Are going to be at farmers markets, roadside stands, fairs, and festivals. So Nevada is a great place, hugely active place. Of course, Las Vegas being there. So where you can sell, you've got fairs and festivals, roadside stands at farmers markets. Keep in mind too, the really interesting part about selling through a farmers market, they may require, it's not by the state laws for the farmers market itself, but when an operator of a farmers market may have other requirements, keep that in mind. They may have other certain type of licenses or fees, or there may other types of criteria that have to be met to sell through that specific farmers market, okay? You gotta understand that the state does govern and have laws set up for farmers markets and other types of establishments that sell food, but the owner, if I were, let's say I was the owner of the farmers market itself, I may go a step further and require, hey, you know what, do you have this permit? Or you may have to get a permit from me, or you may have to pay a fee. So keep that in mind that there's maybe other fees involved if you're selling to a farmer's market. So, but don't let that stop you, okay? Just simply, a lot of times if there's a fee at a farmer's market, it may be a percentage of what you sell, or it may just be like a $35, $50, $100 fee, and then you get in there and then you start selling hundreds of dollars worth of stuff, so it makes it worth it. So, now, the types of services, excuse me, the types of services that you can offer when you're transacting these transactions for food products are either a delivery or a pickup. So, let's say you have a cottage kitchen in Nevada, and you've got people who, if you're comfortable with it, they come to your home and pick up a product, and you can transact it that way, okay? Or you can deliver it. So, if you have a very busy kitchen and you're doing very well, you can have a delivery service drop these types of foods, the allowable foods that you can make, to your customer. You got to keep in mind, Nevada requires that you actually interchange and exchange the product between you and your customer. Third parties, like if you sold it to a grocery store, then the grocery store sold it to a customer, that's considered a third party, and that cannot happen with cottage kitchens, okay? Traditionally, across the board, every state's law wants you to kind of be the one to hand the product to the customer. Farmers markets, you know, fairs, festivals, you set up a booth, customers come up, they buy the product from you, and then your transaction's done. So they get it, okay? Try to understand the difference. You can't sell it to a third party or go sell it to a wholesale company who's going to resell it and resell it to customers, etc., etc. That can't happen. So, the types of services, keep that in mind. services has to be from you to your customer, okay? Now, online, what I was talking about before, a lot of states have done this now with the internet being such a e-commerce platform for pretty much everybody. Selling online and transacting it and then having it delivered or customers come to you, that is allowed, okay? And again, not in every state. Double check with your state specifically. A lot of states are evolving and changing and updating these cottage food laws to allow those types of transactions, okay? Because it also helps. Here's the thing. If you create a website and you're a cottage kitchen and you want to offer a informative website to talk about what your product is, what's it made out of, how do you make it, you know, a little story about who you are, that entices more business, and the states love that because, of course, then it's tax revenue as well, okay? So a lot of states have allowed now companies that are cottage kitchen companies to do these types of things online, and then it generates more, you know, more interest and helps you grow your business too. So it's a great trick. Now, there's something unique about Nevada. Okay, Nevada has 4 districts. Just got my little cheat sheet here. They have 4 districts. So how does that work? What does that mean? There are 4 different districts within the state. If you are living within a certain district, you need to register with that district. They do have a fee, and it is between about $100 to $200. Okay. And what you do is you'll register with whatever district that you're living in and that your business is operating in. Now, if you're looking to sell outside of that district from the resources that I've kind of gained online, if you're looking to do that outside of the district, you again have to register with that district so they know that you're selling products, but you don't necessarily dwell or produce it within that district. So they just want to keep track wherever your transaction you're selling to, every district has to have some type of registration, okay? And I will put that registration down below in the description to give you some phone numbers and contact information to help you kind of do that, okay? All right, so now what kind of stuff can you make? The great thing about Nevada, and you've got to keep in mind, like I mentioned before, a lot of cottage kitchen, every state's different. Cottage kitchens all over the U.S., they vary as to what they're allowed to make, but there is kind of a broad spectrum of laws about products that can be very potentially dangerous or potentially hazardous, okay? And those are the type that have potential for heat sensitive, or they could create mold or bacteria without being properly produced. If you don't have a certain temperature, let's say for salsas, or if it's not properly canned, if you've got canned products, bacteria and such can get in there, and that can cause a problem. And of course, you obviously don't want to have that happen for your customers. So they have allowable foods and non-allowable foods, okay? So the ones that you can make, candied apples, crackers and pretzels, nuts. You can do chocolate-covered products in Nevada, which is huge because chocolate pretzels at fairs and festivals during the fall or winter season, chocolate-covered pretzels, which is a variety of pretzels. You can do chocolate-covered nuts. You can do chocolate-covered pretty much anything that you want to coat in chocolate. And that's a huge draw at fairs and festivals, so that's where money is, okay? Popcorn balls. You can do granola, caramel corns. You can do homemade gourmet marshmallows. Gourmet marshmallows are a huge, huge niche right now. A lot of people are selling them like on Etsy, through the internet as well. Just remember, allowed are products that don't have a potentially dangerous or hazardous production process to them, okay? So these are the things like butters and nut butters and things like that, any type of butter or margarine. Those are the things that have to be refrigerated, and or during the production they have to stay at a certain temperature. So a lot of states want you to stay away from that. So just kind of keep that in mind, and that's pretty much across the board on any state, okay? Also things like beef jerkies, if it's not cured properly, if it's not dried properly, raw meat, as you know, can potentially create really, really big problems. So they want people to stay away from those types of processes unless you're in a commercial facility, okay? So the other items that you can't, that are prohibited, are like mustards and salsas, ketchups, pickles and sauces, okay? Spaghetti sauces, things that have to be jarred. They got to, again, be brought up to a certain temperature, then cooled, and they have to be jarred and have to be sealed properly. There's a lot to it. Stay away from those, okay? Fruit butters, nut butters, perishable baked goods. Now, The allowable products that you can do in a lot of states are baked goods like cookies, breads and things, which are fine. What this means in particular is that a lot of breads like focaccia breads or breads that are topped with raw vegetables like a tomato or cheeses, those again have a certain temperature or holding temperature that has to be maintained in order for it to prevent bacteria, okay? So those are the types of quote-unquote perishable baked goods you kind of want to stay away from. Cheese Danish, you know what I mean? Cheese on the top, if it's not kept at a certain temperature and you're transporting it to a fair or festival, it heats up, it has bacteria, that's going to be a problem, okay? So what they allow is pretty broad. You've got a lot of stuff to play with. You've got, like I said, candied apples, which are just a classic thing at any fair or festival. And marshmallows, nuts, and seeds. You can flavor them, season nuts and seeds, roast them, unroast them. Again, that opens up a huge door of opportunity for different types of things. Popcorns and granola. Granola snacks, you can go endless. You can create it with dried fruits. You can create it with seasonings, make them salty, savory, sweet. I mean, there's such a huge variety. Chocolate-covered items. Again, as long as you take them and you make sure that the other thing I have to mention really quick too is that they have to be packaged so they can be consumed at the fair or festival, and not like an open box full of chocolate-covered pretzels that you're just handing out randomly. They have to be bagged and sealed. They got to be in containers that can be disposed of after the product's consumed. So keep that in mind too, okay? So this is a really quick video. I just want to run down. If you're in Nevada, you can make an extra 35 grand a year. That's not bad. And you can actually make the sales through the internet. That's even better. So I hope my video was informative. Give me a thumbs up. If you guys have any questions about Nevada's cottage kitchen food laws, give me a question down below. I'll be happy to try to help you as much as I can. We also have the Marketing Food Online too. If you want some direct consulting with me and you want to get into depth with about how to produce your food product and bring it to the planet, I could be the guy to help you with that. So I do hope that you appreciate my videos, and thank you guys for watching.